colleague and want to move our amendment if possible. I think you could reduce this motion from the rural independents to two phrases: be afraid of the outsider, vote for me. This is lowest common denominator politics from a lowest common denominator political grouping. And I'm used to hearing the rhetoric from the rural independents in regards to immigration, and I'm used to being disgusted by it. And the issue with the rural independents is that whenever you challenge them, because they're not used to being challenged, they think they can say what they want, where they want, in whatever way they want, and as soon as you challenge them, they seek legal advice, which is what a coward does. A coward reaches for the legal advice when you challenge them on the facts. Now, I know a number of years ago, I know
never in our lives were we cowards, and I won't take that from this brigade either.
I know a number of years ago, one of the deputies opposite suggested that asylum seekers were hoodlums, blackguards, and freeloaders.
We never said that.
And he knew what he was saying when he said that, because he was trying to say, beware of the outsider, vote for me. And over the last month, we've had another member of the Rural Independents on 5 different occasions link immigration with criminality, saying that elderly people and women and children are scared alive on the record of this House. And we've had another deputy in the Rural Independents suggest in an interview last year that we're losing our culture because of immigration. All of this is beware of the outsider. Beware of the outsider. Vote for me. There is nothing more despicable, more cowardly, more debased in Irish politics than the actions of the rural independents in relation to the immigration question. And if they're saying that on the floor of this House, you can only imagine what they're saying in public meetings or at doorsteps in their own constituencies. Because even though their voting record in here is anti-women, anti-LGBT, anti-road safety, anti-worker, because I remember famously when you brought forward a motion in terms of having a living wage for workers, they voted against it because they might actually have to pay their own workers a little bit more money.
How many gas stations did you close?
This is the
How many
politics
reduced the force by 1,000?
The rural independents, because what they want to consistently tell people...
rubbish at all, without telling him the truth.
You're free to leave, but stop interrupting.
What they want to consistently tell people is you need to be afraid of the outsider, vote for me. And I would say to you, Cathaoirleach, and to the Minister, this... I didn't utter a word while I was listening to the falsehoods and scaremongering of the presentations you made
Sorry, Deputy,
this morning.
please, we'll hold the clock. You can't keep interrupting. Either leave, but let the Deputy finish his time.
I was elected by the people of Kerry to come up in here.
And I was elected by the people of Dublin Bay North.
Them alone and put me out of it.
Deputy, let the other deputies finish their time without interruption. They
5 times.
Give you the courtesy. Start,
5
Deputy,
times.
Deputy, we'll start the clock now, please.
5 times over the last month, you in particular, Deputy, have linked criminality with immigration. 5 times on the record of this House. You have said that elderly people, that women and children are scared alive because of immigration. Are you in any way surprised that you are raising temperatures and raising tension and raising fear in local communities when you consistently connect immigration with criminality? You know exactly what you're doing. You know exactly what you're doing.
Deputy Ríordáin, speak through the chair.
They know exactly what they're doing when they're linking immigration with criminality.
Speak through the chair or I'm going to collapse the House. It's as simple as that.
He can't help it. He's a horrible person, and he can't help but being horrible.
There is order called to the
man.
House. Deputy, continue, but speak through the chair, please.
Well, I would say clearly in terms of immigration what it does to this country, because yes, the Irish are all over the world. And I mean, it is stunning hypocrisy for us. 2 weeks after somebody set fire to a bus on O'Connell Street and had a riot through the city, they must be laughing this morning that the National Parliament is having a discussion on immigration. They must have really felt that they achieved their goal. When they ripped through the city centre, when they assaulted Gardaí, when they set fire to vehicles, Garda vehicles, when they intimidated bus workers, when they intimidated Lewis workers, when they made Dublin City Council workers have to clean up the place the next day, when they made everybody in this city feel fearful and wounded and traumatised, they must be delighted that the rural independents listened to their call and put down a motion on immigration. They must be absolutely delighted. So well done. Well done. Congratulations. I'll say this about immigration. Immigration keeps this city together. Immigration keeps this country together. If you need a health worker, if you need a retail worker, if you need a bus driver, these are the people who are holding our society together. There is nothing to be feared when it comes to immigration. You cannot legitimately link immigration with loss of culture or with criminality unless your political mantra is, be afraid of the foreigner, vote for me. There are things that are more important than getting votes. There are things more important than re-election for yourself. There are things that are more important to the human condition, about solidarity, about looking somebody else in the eye and knowing that they are a fellow human being doing their best to raise their family and to contribute to society. And what members in this House are consistently doing is linking immigration with criminality and making people feel fearful of the outsider. Well, I have to say, Cathaoirleach, have absolutely had enough of it. Now, Minister, you have your own responsibility and your government's responsibility to send out information which is absolutely myth-busting. It is your responsibility to challenge this stuff head-on. It is absolutely your responsibility to make sure that when people of good nature and good character and good politics are faced with this sort of rhetoric, that we have the information to hand in order to dispel these myths. But I will not in any way stand in this chamber and listen to the type of lies, the type of fear-mongering, the type of lowest common denominator politics.
Thank you, Deputy. Resume your seat. Deputy, withdraw the word lies, please.
He's a horrible little man. He can't contain himself.
I am speaking.
He's a horrible man.
Is there an issue
Anyone
with the
get them to
chair
represent
speaking?
no.
Please don't interrupt. Deputy, would you withdraw the word lies?
I'm happy to use the word untruths.
That's fine. It's
That's a withdrawal, yeah. Thank you, Chair.
Continue.
Horrible
You have
little
30
man.
seconds left, Deputy.
And I will say what I have to say without fear of legal action from members opposite. So, Cathaoirleach, I will say this about immigration and this country. We have a moral, historical obligation, because the Irish are all over the world, to be as accommodating, as welcoming as possible. The government has a responsibility to give information to the entire country about the nature of our process and our system. But we also have a moral and historical obligation to never, ever, ever steep to the depths of the rural independence to say to the outsider, you're not welcome, we must be fearful of you and vote for me.